Vern, we're on the air.
What? Oh, on the air. Good.
There's a But Who's Counting game show coming up a little later, Vern. Why don't you tell the audience to get pencil and paper ready?
Why?
Why? So they can play the game at home, of course.
They need pencil and paper?
It helps.
But if they go get pencil and paper, they'll miss the next part of the program, and that's not fair.
They won't miss that much of it. Just tell them to get pencil and paper and come right back.
I don't want that kind of responsibility on my head.
Don't be ridiculous.
What if the kid goes to get pencil and paper so he can play along with But Who's Counting, and he falls down and breaks all his bones?
He won't.
Yeah, you don't know that for a fact.
Tell him to get pencil and paper.
No, you tell him.
All right. Kids, get pencil and paper and get ready for But Who's Counting.
They're missing part of the show now.
No, they're not. They're missing you babbling.
Listen.
I didn't hear anything. What?
I just heard a kid fall down and break all his bones.
You're silly.
And it's on your head. I bet you get sued.
Watch this.
Now, back to But Who's Counting? Still already in progress.
So, I showed Bob Barker the bill, and I said, do you think the price is right? Anyway, the last number was a 4. Let's see what sort of results we have. Remember, we were going for...
The smallest sum.
That's right. And what do you got?
I have a lot.
Yes, you do, but unfortunately, we were going for a little.
Yeah, well, I have less than he.
You most certainly do. 3/8 is less than 3/5, and 5/4 is less than 8/4, and so our first round winner is LT.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, LT, that's an unusual name for a woman contestant.
Yeah, well, my father was hoping for an outside linebacker.
And speaking of that, your opponent also sports an unusual moniker, TP Wickiup. Tell me, TP, why are you so nervous?
Well, my doctor says I'm just 2 tenths.
Let's get to our second round.
Get it? 2 tenths. Like 2 tenths?
For you folks at home, get a pencil and paper ready and play along with us. Be wild, okay? I'm going to spin the wheel 4 times. Your job is to make 2 fractions that yield the smallest sum. And remember, once you place your digit,
You can't move it.
here we go with the first digit fraction. We're looking for fractions. Yeah. And the first digit is a 2. Place your 2 on your fraction maker. Here we go with the second digit. We are looking for 2 fractions that yield the smallest sum. 4. Second digit is a 4. Third digit coming up. Place it where you think it'll do the most good. Third digit is a number 2. Another 2. And here we go with the 4th and the final digit. 5. Well, let's see what we've got in this fractious game of fractions. Very interesting. Tell me, which of you thinks you have the smaller sum?
Yeah, I think he does.
She thinks I do.
Why?
I just heard her say it.
And I said it because 2/4 is less than 2/2, which is 1. And 2/5 is less than 4/5. So, yeah, he's got the smallest sum.
You are absolutely right, and for that you get a terrific prize.
Hey, what is it?
You get to drive me home after the show. And for our winner, TP Wickiup, a pup tent.
I don't have a car.
I don't have a dog.
And I don't have a clue, but that's all the time we have for today. See you later, Ed. May the math be with you. Bye-bye.
Patterns, brought to you by Geometry, another division of mathematics. It's more than just arithmetic.
These 2 contestants, Chris Jara and Nicole Diello, will separate mathematical fact from fiction. Hi, I'm Reggie Cathy, and welcome to Square One Challenge. And now let's meet the host of our show, Mr. Larry Cedar.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hi, Reg. How are you?
I'm out of
All right, see you later. Welcome to Square One Challenge. We have a great game for you today. We got some super questions, some fabulous contestants. Welcome to the show, Chris and Nicole. It's good to have you here. Now, you know how the game is played. We start each off with 100 points. There they are. Let's get right to our first question. Here we have, in the upper left-hand corner, a rectangle. Now, this rectangle is cut into two separate pieces, as Louisa will demonstrate. We can rearrange these two pieces to form a variety of shapes. One of these three shapes, A, B, or C, is impossible to make by rearranging the two pieces that you see up there. Here's the question. Which one of these shapes is impossible to make by rearranging the two pieces? A, B, or C? There's our first question, and now with some answers to that question, let's go to our guests for today from Square One TV, Arthur Howard and Beverly Mickens. How you doing there? Arthur, what do you think? Which one is impossible to make?
Well, you can't make B, because B has two holes in it.
Okay, Arthur says you can't make B. Beverly, what do you think?
Well, Arthur, you can't make A either, because A has two little extra pieces sticking out of the corner.
Beverly says you can't make A. Arthur says you can't make B. Now, it's up to you to decide if Arthur is telling the truth or bluffing, and if Beverly is telling the truth or bluffing. Sometimes they both tell the truth, sometimes they both bluff. It's up to you to decide. You'll get 25 points for each correct decision, so think about it and write down your decisions. Which one is impossible to make, A, B, or C? All right, you've locked in your decisions. Chris, what do you think?
I think Beverly's bluffing, and so is Arthur.
You think that both Beverly and Arthur are bluffing. All right, thank you very much. Nicole, what do you think?
I came to the same conclusion as Chris, that they are both bluffing.
You also think that they are both bluffing. Arthur said B was impossible. Beverly said A was impossible. Let's find out how you did. Will the truth tellers please stand?
We'll show you.
You were both right. Both of them were bluffing. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why. Now, Louisa will demonstrate here. As you can see, you can make A. There's A. And you can also make shape B. There you have it. But, look at this now, you cannot make C. And here's why. You see, the red pieces don't cover all of C. So, they were indeed both bluffing. Let's see how you did. Chris, you were correct about Arthur and Beverly. 50 points for you for a total of 150 points. Nicole, also correct about both. 50 points, 150 points. We have a tie game going into our second question. Excellent job. We're off to a great start. Here's our second question. Now, this is a video question, so I want you to pay close attention to the monitor. Now, here we are at the Square One TV Summer Picnic, having a grand old time. And one of the events we have here is the Tug of War. And we've broken up into two teams, the blue team and the red team. Now, as you can see, only part of the teams is visible in this particular picture here. Here's the question. If two of the blue team's members wear hats and 3/4 of them do not, how many players are there on the blue team? I'll repeat that. If two of the blue team's members wear hats and 3/4 of them do not, how many players are there on the blue team? There's the question. Arthur, what do you think?
Let's see. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 players on the blue team.
Arthur says 8 players on the blue team. Thank you. Beverly?
Well, 2 wear hats and 3/4 do not. 2 times 3 is 6. I say there's 6 players on the blue team.
Beverly says 6 players. Arthur says 8. Think about it and write down your decision. How many players on the blue team? All right, you've had time to lock it in. Chris, what do you think?
I say that Beverly's bluffing and Arthur is telling the truth.
You say that Beverly, who said 6 players, is bluffing, and Arthur, who said 8 players, is telling the truth. Thank you very much, and good luck. Nicole?
I believe that Beverly is bluffing and Arthur is telling the truth.
You also believe that Beverly is bluffing and Arthur is telling the truth. Let's find out how you did with the second question. Will the truth tellers please stand? Arthur is telling the truth, and Beverly is bluffing. Arthur, would you please explain?
Sure. Well, 3/4 of the team do not wear hats, therefore 1/4 must, and we know that's 2 players. Since 1/4 of the team is 2 players, then the whole team, or 4/4, is 8 players.
8 players. Thank you very much, Arthur and Beverly. Let's see how you did. Chris,
You were correct about Arthur and Beverly. You'll get 50 points for a total of 200 points. Great score. Nicole also correct about Arthur and Beverly. 50 points for 200 points. We have a tie game going into our challenge round. Congratulations. Wow, what a close game. All right, now this is the challenge round. Here's your chance to pull ahead or seal the win. Now, in the challenge round, you can bet part or all of your points. Now, you both have 200 points. You can bet some of that or all of that. Let's find out what the challenge round question is from Reg Cathy. Hey, Reg, how are you? Thank you very much. Now, I will tell you before you make your bet, this challenge round question deals with the subject of probability. So go ahead and put your bet down on the wager board. All right, you've written down your wagers, and I must remind you that to win the challenge round, you must be correct about both of our players. Here's Louisa again with our next challenge round question. Hi, Louisa.
Hi.
You can see we have here 2 spinners. Each spinner is divided into 6 sections. Spinner A has 3 4s and 3 2s. Spinner B has 6 3s. Here is the challenge round question. If we spin each spinner, spinner A and B, 4 times, which spinner is more likely to give you a total of 12? Spin each spinner 4 times, which spinner is more likely to give you a total of 12? Let's get some answers. Arthur.
Sure. Spinner A, because chances are you'll get 2 2s and 2 4s, giving you a total of 12.
Arthur says spinner A. Beverly.
The spinners would be equally likely to give a total of 12 since the numbers add up to 18 on each spinner.
Beverly says equally likely. There's the question and some answers. Think about it and write down your decisions. And remember, in the challenge round, to win, you're going to have to be correct about both players. Time's up. You've locked in your decisions. Chris.
I think Beverly's bluffing, and so is Arthur.
You think that they are both bluffing. All right. Remember, Beverly said both spinners are equally likely. Arthur said spinner A. Nicole.
I think that Beverly is telling the truth, and so is Arthur.
You think that they are both telling the truth. Okay. Opposite opinions. Thank you for your decisions. Let's find out for the challenge round. You must be correct about both players to win. Truth tellers, please stand. They are both bluffing. Very, very interesting. All right, let's find out why. Louisa will help me demonstrate here. Now, spinner B is always going to give you a total of 12 in 4 spins because the only number you can possibly hit is 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. Spinner A could give you 12, but it could also give you 8, 4 2s, or 16, 4 4s, or other numbers. The chances of getting 12 in 4 spins are better with B. Thank you very much, Louisa. Thank you, Arthur and Beverly. Let's find out how you did. Chris, you were correct about Arthur and Beverly. Let's find out how much you wagered. 200 points. A big risk you took, but it paid off for you. You have a total of 400 points. Nicole, I'm sorry you were not correct about Arthur and or Beverly. How much did you wager? Oh, 175. You also took a big gamble. Unfortunately, because you weren't correct about them, we have to subtract those points, leaving you with a total of 25. Chris, you're our grand prize winner. Congratulations. Well, Nicole, you're a runner-up. You only had 25 points, but you certainly gave it a good shot. You took a big risk there. Almost paid off for you. Congratulations. As our runner-up, you're going to get a really cool Sport Jester gym bag and a laser hologram calculator, which is really neat, so way to go. Chris, as our grand prize winner, you receive the Square One jacket. You'll also get a gift certificate for some really neat sneakers, and you will get the still waterproof Square One wristwatch. So way to go. Nice game. Thanks for playing. Thank you all for helping. We'll see you next time on Square One Challenge.
Number 5. Number 3. Number 2. And the winning number is 532. Winners of the 24-hour lottery must collect their money within 24 hours.
Rats. I won again.
The winning number is brought to you by probability, another division of mathematics. It's more than just arithmetic.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Monday, 9:43 a.m., and a trumped-up story in the tabloids about a killer bee sighting in Central Park had all Manhattan buzzing. My partner's name is George Franklin. The boss is Joe Greco. My name is Tuesday. I'm a mathematician.
Free. Take a card from the good luck deck. You've lost your chain of inflatable running shoe stores in a hostile takeover. Lose a turn and change your socks.
What's going on?
Oh, morning, Pat. It's a new game that's sweeping the country.
Wheel of Jeopardy, the home version. It's just like the television show.
I watched that a couple of times.
Hottest show on TV, Pat.
How do you play?
With this die, this spinner, and this bingo cage.
Random number generators.
Precisely.
What are you guys talking about?
Well, it's mathematics that makes the game interesting, Benny.
It is.
Sure. Each time you roll the die, each number, 1 through 6, has the same probability of coming up.
Each time.
Uh-huh. That selection process is called random.
So, on 3 throws, I might get a 2, a 5, and say another 5.
Sure. And that series of numbers is just as likely to come up on the next 3 throws as any other sequence of numbers.
Right. But stick to one number. Say you roll a 4. On your second throw, the probability is still 1/6 that you'll roll a 4 again.
It's possible that you could roll 10 4s in a row.
Possible, but not very probable. And the spinner's the same?
That's right. The spinner generates random numbers as well. There are 4 numbers on it. Each time you spin, the probability of each of its numbers coming up is the same, 1/4.
But the bingo cage is different. It has numbers 0 through 9.
So, once you draw a number out, you don't put it back in, so you'll never get that number again in the game.
Mathematicians call that sampling without replacement.
I knew you guys had had some fancy schmancy name for it.
Morning, Captain. We were just...
I hate to interrupt this profound mathematical seminar with something as trivial as work.
That's okay, Captain. That's why we're here. What's up?
I'm loaning you out to the Central Intelligence Agency. Your orders come from the very top. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
The president?
How can we help the CIA?
I'm not sure. All they told me was it had to do with the recent death of a king.
Recent? Elvis died years ago.
Here's your contact at the CIA.
Agent Ovid.
He'll meet you at Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza at the United Nations.
How will we recognize him?
Oh, he'll find you. The code word for the operation is Chuckberry.
Mind if I finish the game first? I was way ahead anyway.
You were not.
Was too.
We're not.
It was too.
Okay, you two, stop fussing.
Excuse me, would you be so kind as to tell me how to get to the Empire State Building, or should I just...
Certainly, ma'am. If you take the subway at the next corner.
Chuck Berry, Ovis, CIA. And don't do that ostentatious routine you do with your badges I've seen on previous shows. I know who you are. Walk this way.
Let me help you across the street.
Oh, thank you, Sonny. That won't be necessary.
Come on, I'm trained to do this.
Get your hands off me or I'll see you never merit another badge as long as you lived. Chuck Berry. And don't mind the mess. We're busy people here.
Agent Ovitz, you're not quite what we expected.
We're masters of disguise, Miss Tuesday. You have to be, shall I say, to survive in this business.
What's this all about, ma'am? Sir.
All we were told was that it had something to do with...
Elvis.
The death of a king.
True enough. More on that in a moment. First, on behalf of the company, I thank you for your help.
Well, when your country calls. When I was at Mathnet University, I remember being recruited by a guy.
Have you ever heard of a country called Calpurnia?
It's a small country in Europe, isn't it?
That's right. Now, the king of Calpurnia died about 6 months ago.
Wasn't he killed in an automobile accident?
We don't think it was an accident.
Oh?
A reliable witness saw someone tinkering under the king's car.
Tinkering?
Tinkering.
Tinkering.
The king got in the car shortly thereafter, drove down the mountain from his castle. The car went out of control, crashed, and he was killed. Subsequent investigations showed...
The brake lines have been tinkered with.
Cut.
Oh.
Where do we fit in?
The late king's son, now the new king of Calpurnia, is in New York City on business. He's accompanied by his finance minister.
I still don't see...
Now, I don't know how much you know about Calpurnia. It is small, but strategically very important to Uncle Sam.
What can we do?
Keep an eye on the new king while he's in this country. We don't want anything to happen to him. And frankly, Tuesday, this is important to the big guy.
You mean?
I do. Oh, that'll be the finance minister come to take you to the king. Come in. Miss Sylvia Sherwood, I'd like you to meet Pat Tuesday and George Franklin.
Mathnet.
How do you do? How do you do? Thank you for helping. How much do they know?
I've given them a brief briefing.
How brief?
About like that. Small.
Short.
Brief.
Good. The king is ready to see you now. Stay in touch, Mathnetters. Shall we?
What a disguise.
Hey, Mathnetters, come on down.
Look, Pat, Wheel of Jeopardy.
You know this game?
Sure do. Hey, is this the new portable computerized edition?
You've hit the answer to that question right between the eyes, contestant. This one's a Jim Dandy. No more carrying around a die, a spinner, and a bingo cage. No siree, Bob. The computer does it all.
Why does this kid talk like a game show host?
Because that's what he wants to be when he grows up. Your Highness, this is no time for games.
Your Highness?
You are now in the august presence of His Royal Highness King Family Christmas Special, the 3rd.
Call me Chris.
King Chris.
How do you do, King Chris? I'm Pat Tuesday. This is my partner, George.
Frankly.
Mathnet.
Hey, is this young monarch happy to be in the presence of 2 New Yorkers or what? Hey, could you guys take me on a tour?
Well, sure.
I want to see the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building and Radio City Music Hall and the ASCAP Building and...
I must remind Your Highness that you have a very important meeting at 5.
Well, it's only 2 now. Besides, I've been cooped up here all day.
Very well. But I shall attend you.
Bring your game.
Your carriage awaits without. George.
Well, King Chris, this is the Big Apple.
Why do you call it that?
Because it's rotten to the core.
Danny, that's the federal courthouse.
What are those twin buildings?
The World Trade Center.
Why 2?
Imports and exports.
Gee, it's like a never-ending panorama of glass and steel reaching to the heavens.
In another life, King Chris, were you a bad writer?
That's St. Patrick's Cathedral.
And there's the Empire State Building.
That's Radio City Music Hall.
Hey, who's that?
Nobody important.
But it is. Isn't that Monte Carlo? He's on Square One TV. What's he doing?
Begging for an audience.
Wow, Monte Carlo. My life is complete.
And here we are, Your Highness, in Central Park.
Thanks, guys. That was neato.
Well, it's a quick tour, King Chris, but better than nothing.
I want to thank you guys. Sylvia, what have we got for our guest?
Don't dawdle now. It's nearly time for the meeting, and the embassy's on the other side of the park.
Calpurnia is a small country, isn't it, Miss Sherwood?
Oh, it's about the size of one of your states. The one named after the chicken.
Rhode Island?
Yes, we're a small but happy country. We have many lakes and grasslands. Even an Alp.
An Alp? A mountain?
Wow. Ever go mountain climbing?
No, we use an elevator. It's a rather short Alp.
It is getting late. Your Highness, I'm afraid... Your Highness?
Chris?
Your Highness?